Pulp Fiction, a film that tells a twisted story and has been watched by generations. Made by a genius director, hides many surprises and connections that lead to different people and situations. It is a well-known fact that such details are characteristic for Tarantino's works. Therefore, we present some hidden and surprising facts that probably you had no idea about. So, let's take a look at Pulp Fiction, 25 facts you didn't know about it. 1. Uma Thurman was not the only actress taken under consideration for the role of Mia Wallace. Along the way, there were names like Daryl Hannah, Michelle Pfeiffer, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, or even Isabella Rossellini. Hey, would you like to find out more interesting facts about Pulp Fiction? Subscribe to our channel and like it, just to make sure you will not miss any of our other videos and ideas. 2. At the end of the film, if you carefully read the credits, you can find the name of the coffee shop manager described as just the coffee shop. It is all due to the scene from that very place, where Tim Ross is holding the guy against the bar. The man is trying to explain that he is just a coffee shop manager. Right there, Tim interrupts, so the final sentence is just, "I am just the coffee shop." 3. Some actors appeared on the screen just for a moment, like Steve Buscemi, who played the waiter at Jack Rabbit Slim's, or Kathy Griffin, who sees the moment of the accident. 4. Julia Sweeney appeared as the daughter of the junkyard's owner, while her husband, at that time, Stephen Hibbert, was the man behind the mask, the Gimp. Especially for Stephen, that small part became something that people will remember for many years, as it is one of the most outrageous scenes in the history of cinema. 5. Tarantino himself played a small role of Jimmy Dimmock. Robert Rodriguez was the one who directed that scene. 6. The person who refused to take part in the anal rape scene was Max Julien. At first, he was supposed to play the role of Marcellus Wallace. Eventually, this role went to Ving Rhames. 7. Another actors who did not make it to the final movie were Gary Oldman, who could have played the role of Lance, and Daniel Day-Lewis, who got the proposal of playing Vincent. 8. Even some names of people not being actors came up during the film. It is a well-known fact that Tarantino incorporates elements from his private life in his productions. In Pulp Fiction, the boxing matches include names like Wilson, Vossler, Martinez, or Coolidge. Whereas Calvin Coolidge and Woodrow Wilson were American presidents, Russell Vossler and Jerry Martinez were guys who used to work with Tarantino in a video store. 9. This story is connected with the name of a pet. Honey Bunny, the name of a girl who takes part in a coffee shop robbery, played by Amanda Plummer, is actually a name of Linda Chan's pet rabbit. The woman worked with Tarantino and was rewriting the script. The director did not help her to look after the pet, but incorporated its name into his iconic production. 10. Do you remember Michael Madsen in Reservoir Dogs? Tarantino remembered about him when he was writing the role of Vincent. As another role came up and Madsen did not make it, Tarantino decided to hire John Travolta. Not many opted for that decision, but it turned out great and Travolta got an Oscar nomination. 11. Bruce Willis was not the first choice when it comes to the role of Butch. As the story is connected with the boxer, Tarantino took under consideration such names as Sylvester Stallone, Matt Dillon, or Mickey Rourke, whereas Willis was supposed to become Vincent. 12. Another person who eventually got a different role than it had been planned was Pam Grier. The actress who played Jackie Brown was originally auditioned to become Jodie. However, the character of Lance's wife, who is pushed around by her husband, did not occur proper for Grier. 13. Samuel L. Jackson was the first choice when it comes to the role of Jules, but there was a moment when it all came under question. Paul Calderon had such a great audition that Tarantino started having second thoughts. Jackson had to come again to meet the director to establish his position as Jules. 14. There are more of the well-known names popping around during the film. In the scene at the Jack Rabbit Slim's, the before-mentioned waiter, played by Steve Buscemi, proposes two different ways of serving milkshakes. They can be Martin and Lewis or Amos and Andy. This is connected with chocolate or vanilla flavors, as Tim Martin and Jerry Lewis were two white actors, whereas Amos and Andy were two black comedians that had a show on TV. 15. Before becoming Jimmy Dimmock, Quentin Tarantino wanted to play the role of Lance. What made him change his mind was the fact that he decided to supervise the scene of Mia's overdose, what made taking the role impossible. 16. When Tarantino made the decision to cast Uma Thurman as Mia Wallace, it was not an easy task to persuade the actress herself. Tarantino read the whole script over the phone to convince her. 17. The names of actors and actresses are not the only well-known names that appear in Pulp Fiction. When Vincent calls Nance to tell him about Mia's overdose, we can see that the director is eating fruit brute. These cereals were Tarantino's favorite when he was a child, and so they found their way into the film industry, appearing also in Reservoir Dogs. General Mills produced also other, with the names as Yummy Mummy or Count Chocula. 18. Another childhood memory from Tarantino's life is the famous song You Can Never Tell by Chuck Berry. According to Karen Rechman, who was responsible for Pulp Fiction's music, this song had been Tarantino's mother's favorite when she was pregnant with the director. 19. If, when watching Pulp Fiction, you have a feeling that you have already seen Esmeralda, the cab driver, you are absolutely right. Esmeralda Villalaba's character is actually based on the role of Gabriella from a movie called Curdle. It tells the story of a girl who cleans up after murders and eventually discovers some clues connected with the serial killers. No surprise the cab driver hides such a deep interest in killing and is fascinated by Butch's story. 20. Connections with other films are also visible when it comes to weapons in the pawn shop scene. Butch holds, for example, the hammer that was previously used in Friday the 13th Part 2, or a bat that appeared in Walking Tall. From Lighting Sword of Death, we can see the samurai sword, whereas from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the chainsaw of course. 21. Another prop that had been traveling from a movie to a movie is the white Honda Civic. We can see it also in Kill Bill Volume 2 or Jackie Brown. In the scene with the car in Pulp Fiction, we can observe a connection with Hitchcock's Psycho when Wallace turns his face in the direction of the Honda. 22. The music band The Frames had also its 5 minutes of fame in Pulp Fiction. The actress who played Prudy had been cooperating with a singer from The Frames and promised her to wear the t-shirt with the band's name in case she made it to Pulp Fiction. 23. And the next logo story, this time connected with Orbitz, a newspaper from Detroit. This time, it was Tarantino himself who had the t-shirt from a promotional interview for Reservoir Dogs. 24. There is a name that often appears in Tarantino's films, and it is the name of his home state, Tennessee. In Pulp Fiction, this is where Butch decided to meet with his connection. 25. The scene of rape is something that stays in viewers' heads for a long time. It is obvious then that Tarantino wanted to choose a proper music background for this one, although eventually it is Comanche by the Rebels. Originally he wanted My Sharona by the Knack,